They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying things are gonna change, but they look just like they stay the same. You're getting way over your head, and you only got yourself to blame. You can't win, child, can't break even, can't get out of the game. Yeah. I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe?
All right, good people. Okay. Oh, we got the Dusty Cloud Engineer checking in first. What's up, Roddy? Okay, we need a T-shirt, man. Dusty Cloud Engineers. let the dust, like let the dust flow. Dusty Cloud Engineers. Or we make the dust flow. I think that's probably a good saying. We make the dust flow. Dusty Cloud Engineers. Royal Priest, what's going on? Oh, you got a notification. Oh, we're shout out to the YouTube guys, right? Okay. Free Agent Triple OG, what's happening? Adric, what's going on, man? Supreme Pivot. Okay. Supreme Pivot said he believes. Okay. Guy Incognito. Some people loved it. There's a couple people that didn't. And I did it is because I wanted you guys to see in real time by somebody that's an insider, okay? Because Trust and Believe, I just got off a live where, you have to sort of bite your tongue, but because it is a pro-black, it's a conscious community pro-black female show, okay? So when I say I know this shit inside and out, man, I know this shit inside and out, okay? I know this shit inside and out, okay? Because I've been with her, God, Jesus, it's been that long. Since 2009, I've been doing a weekly show with her since 2009. And most of the stuff I agree with. And a lot of insight on pro-black and even the black community, a lot of that stuff I actually get from her. That's how I know Umar, and that's how I know Dr. Claude. That's how I know, what's his name? We just played him. We just played him yesterday. So I know him. That's how I've met him. And I've interviewed him a couple times. A lot of people are like Yada Van Zant, okay? A lot of people I've met and I've talked to because of the people that I'm connected to. So I'm an insider. So when I say I'm an insider, I don't say that lightly. This is why Becky wins. Prince, yo, trust. There's my apple. A bite of the apple. You know what? We'll say that for later. Kinsey and Red, what's going on? John, what's happening? Barry Little, what's up? What's going on, Barry? Terrell, what's going on? Shannon. And Obsidian's Toxic Femininity, the Black Man's Guide to Modern Black Feminism is a must-read for every brother out here. Okay. Brother Truth Be Told. Eddie, okay. What's going on? You showed the other day you pulled out the belt. What's going on, Instant Media? Navone, what's going on? Ilias, Forever Blessed. Mr. Donnie Mack, Quentin. Lazarus, what's going on? Micah L. Trail. Wolf, what's going on, Wolf? The chat is extra dusty already. And shout out to Alan Lavelle for the intro. It's called Sweetness. LAXT, what's happening? Carl Hudson, what's happening? Detroit, what's happening? Kevin, what's going on? That boy, okay, what's going on? Is that Cam Newton? Fedor, what's going on, man? What's going on in A-Town? What's going on in Gynocracy Central? Michael, what's happening? Travis, what's going on, man? Okay, Greg, Mr. Snazzy, Barry Hamilton, Rocky, what's happening? Oh, I have a Don Calypso sighting. I don't know how shit for that thumbnail. Bureau, what's happening? Independent POV, what's happening? Oak Ridge, what's happening? Bo Johnson. Snowman, what's up? Snowman, what's going on with this? You need to do a standalone on Caitlin Clark and the dust up going on with all this racism and stuff like that, because she's caught in the crossfire. She can't say anything right? And basically, and also I think it was the Mystics owner that wanted to turn her award, or Time Athlete of the Year award, into a DEI thing where the whole league gets a prize. Okay, so I think you should do, if not a show, but it's not a standalone, okay? And actually highlight it, put it in there, hashtag that shit, because that is the topic du jour of the last week or so, okay? About a Time magazine and the stuff that Caitlin Clark has said, and race and sexism and all that kind of crap that's going along with it. You should really dig into that, okay? They say a dust bunny. You are hilarious. Okay, that's what happens when you get involved with a wordsmith, man. A dust bunny. And, hey, instead of we have what we call them, pygmies. Okay, have pygmies for dusty cloud engineers and dusty dudes like us. We have the women that love us, call them dust bunnies. Oh, that'd be hilarious. That's hilarious. Tunnel Runner, what's going on? Saint Cyr, what's going on? Big Chris, black criminals will live on forever because black men are nothing but a bunch of shut up, man. Shut the fuck up, okay? With that bullshit. Captain Obvious, what's going on? Duran, what's going on? Kelvin, what's going on? Dave Tao, what's going on, man? Just Geo, what's happening? From Africa I came. Black feminism is a counterinsurgency deployed to destroy black radicalism. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. Chaos, what's going on? Dusty PhD. The magnetic vortex, what's going on? Oak Ridge, what's happening? Shout out to the unconscious conscious community. It's like anything in nature, anything in human society, it's complex. The saddest part is B-dubs never needed feminists. They didn't. Their men loved them unconditionally for the most part. Black women have always had the power in the black community. Okay, they were given the power in the black community by the slave master. If they never let go of it, in the 1970s we had. We have clips from 1970s where black women were unwilling to let go of the power. Okay, were unwilling to let go of the power, and by them being unwilling to let go of the power, they were subverted by white feminism. Because the white feminist movement without black women could not have gotten started. They didn't have a moral basis for it. Okay, they needed, in all their movements, they needed black women to co-sign. Otherwise, they could not have done it. White Skinner, what's going on? Tooth Trib. Okay, I don't even know. I ain't gonna try to pronounce this. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Okay. that is beyond my capacity. Maybe somebody uh, like Latoya can actually pronounce that one. NPRG, what's happening? Willie R, what's going on? Reax man, okay. Afro National, what's going on? Ronan, what's up, man? Sinistar, what's going on? Brooklyn's Finest, what's happening? Ray Hamner, what's going on? You just can't, or will you IBMOR stop giving lives at the same damn time? I don't know what they're doing, man. I've been had this time slot for the past 2 years. I don't know what they're doing. It ain't up to me. Dusty checking in from work. What's good, BGS? Hey, Diesel, what's going on? It's been off the chain. You guys are the thing is, you guys are aware of it because in mainstream media, nobody's aware of it. The only reason you guys know is because I tell you. If I didn't tell you, it's a very hidden world, believe it or not. Okay, there's very few people even talk about this stuff. You went through the whole political cycle and nobody talked about it. Okay, if you listen to anybody in politics, even here on politics, man, people are supposed to know better. Don't even talk about this shit. The reason you know it is because somebody like me that's been doing this for a very long time is actually telling you guys where to go and where to look, because most people don't know where to go or where to look. Trust and believe. Ain't that many. Detroit 313, Eric Deadman, what's happening? Solis, Jamar, Brother John, there's Woo Man Charles, Damien, W. Brizzles, Dr. Goodbar pulling up. Okay. Let's see who else we got. Ninja Person, what's going on? From a dusty flight, there's one of our Dusty Cloud engineers. Dr. Thunder, what's happening? Yeah, what I'm saying is that, okay, as far as geopolitics, and I had my first group, man, and back in 2002, 2003, man, I had to convince the guy that was running it to get into geopolitics because he wasn't doing it. I see you're Pan-African, but you're not into geopolitics and how the system works. And I had to push him into it, okay? Because I got into because I had to trade commodities. I was into trading commodity contracts. In commodity contracts, you have to know a little bit about geopolitics, how the world works, right? So I got into it. And then I got into with Craig Hewlett. And Craig Hewlett is about power. If you don't understand power, then you have to look at the rest of the world, okay? And so I got into it. So basically it progressed. So by the time I got into my first online black conscious, pro-black space, okay, I said we have to get involved in geopolitics and how the world shapes us and how we shape the world. So that's how I got it. So I've been into this stuff for, God, since 94. Really 89 with Tiananmen Square in 89. So I've been into this for damn near 40 years. So I want you guys to know what the top level people know. That's why I'm telling you. Now some people accept it, some people reject it, but the thing is, at least you're aware of it. That's all I got to say. Morningstar, appreciate you. Okay, are you a Pan-African? How are you a Pan-African not into geopolitics? You man. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Okay. Forex, not really Forex. Forex came a little later. It was really the Chicago board, and you would trade stuff like Euro dollars, Canadian dollars, Swiss franc. They weren't doing the mark, but you could get into yen. What else? What else did they trade? There was one more that they trade. I can't remember what it was. There was one more. Oh, Australian dollars. Okay, so you could get into the Chicago board, and that's what they traded. Forex was later, because Forex really depended on when the internet exploded in like say the late 90s. That's when Forex became a force. Before that, you had to go to a board. because most people didn't have access to forex. Anyhow, let's get started. Nope, I haven't really started yet, Ray. Anyhow, that's my history. But the thing is, first I want to show you this, okay? Because this, believe it or not, this is the crux of what Polymer is gonna say is the crux of feminism and black feminism. Because I've traced her down, and basically her and Eleanor Roosevelt actually started, or the seeds of second wave feminism. They're the seeds of it. And what she's going to say is exactly why we are where we are. But the thing is, most people don't know that.
We haven't got very much time, so perhaps one of you had better answer it.
I don't think we are going to solve the question of racism until we solve the question of sexism, or until both are solved simultaneously. So that women's liberation, after many years of struggling with race liberations, women's liberation has become, in a sense, for me personally, a priority. The black male, like the black female, will not be liberated until we have a free society. It seems to me obvious by now that a 10% minority, even if it were 100% organized, in the economic and to some degree political and social powerlessness that Negroes have in this country today, cannot bring about a successful revolution, or I would prefer to say a successful transformation of society. The very weight of numbers and the very pervasiveness of the female presence, which cannot possibly be segregated, holds out, it seems to me, potential hope for a successful transformation of the political structures. And I think as this happens, as more women move into the movement for the liberation of women, there will be black women, Indian women, Puerto Rican women, all moving together and also with one eye on the liberation of the ethnic group to which they belong.
I'm sorry, Dr.
Which turned out to be bullshit, okay? In other words, what she's saying, in a sense, okay, which I don't know how and maybe they did catch it, they're just saying it, right, okay? What she said was, okay, in her estimation, in her calculation, okay, black people were too small a group to bring about their own transformation or liberation for equality, right, okay? So what you have to do is marry that to a larger group, okay, which is females. Okay, females are everybody knows, you know, females are the largest voting group in the United States. Okay, 60, so was it 58, 59% of the voting populace is female. Okay, the majority of voters are female, including 55% of the voting populace is white female. And what she was saying is, rather than fighting for civil rights for just black people or the group, okay, it's better to give the it's better to give over to feminism, okay, and let feminism bring about a more equal or a less discriminatory society so that everybody will benefit. So in other words, black people, including black men, are going to get their liberation through the feminist movement, okay? It didn't turn out. Guess who suffered most under the feminist movement, right? Guess whose ire that everything was turned on? Was it white men? No, okay? They allowed white women to take black male jobs. Black men were the number 2 earners, even though we were far behind white men. We're number 2, okay? Number 3 were white females, and number 4, as far as we're concerned, was black females, okay? From that time to this time, basically, I think white females are within 10% of white males, right? Okay? So basically, So basically, we're down to number 3, okay? And black females are pushing to overtake us. So what they're trying to do. White males haven't moved as far as earning potential, right? I mean, as far as the majority group, white males haven't moved. They're still at the top. White females are number 2, okay? When they were number 3. Black females are pushing to be number 3. Guess who they're trying to push down to the bottom? Black males. The who got screwed in this whole process, okay? Because people like Polly Murray and elite black feminists subverted the whole civil rights movement, subverted it, okay? What black females profited from the movement, okay? Guess who didn't? Us, okay? That's how come I want to play it. So all the myths, okay? I know it was BS. Guess what? Guess what the white women did, which pisses off the so-called black feminists, okay? Who are too scared to do anything because that's where their money comes from. That's like the womanist movement. So I'm going to play the womanist movement with Tony Brown's journey. Actually, Green Gorilla played this about 4 years ago. But we're going to actually revisit this because when you marry the two, you start to understand, okay? And this is Africana womanism, Brenda Werner, okay? Interview by Tony Brown. So my last family reunion was full of, basically, it's going to be full of feminists because that's how they're trained. Okay, where did they go to school? What did they learn in school? Because they're looking, because a lot of stuff that black women repeat, young black women repeat was bullshit. Like they said that black women couldn't have bank accounts, they couldn't own property, blah blah blah. Black women have been owning property since before emancipation. Okay. In 1865, during Reconstruction, because of the immigrants coming in, they opened up home ownership and property ownership to everybody, including females. Right? Okay. The first black female bank was opened in 1924, something like that. Okay. A black female owned bank. So saying that black women didn't have bank accounts or couldn't own property, shit like that, is bullshit. Okay. A lot of stuff they borrow from the white female, which never existed. In fact, I do believe back during emancipation and Jim Crow, black females have owned and still own more, more property than single black males. They own more homes. They own more homes than single black males. They always have. We're always more educated, own more homes, more employed. Black women have always been more employed. Go back to the Philadelphia Negro. When women could always find a job, when it might not be the best job, they might have to work for the white woman. When black men couldn't find a job, guess who could? Anyway. Now she basically thinks that black men are that is a different story. She actually explained that. Okay, she actually did explain it. Is that she did say that. She said because of the nature of the races in the United States, it was pointed at black males. Okay, that their survival was not sure. Okay. Because of the oppressive nature of the society, it was pointed at black. It wasn't pointed at them. Pointed at black males, and she even said it. So what was left is a sex imbalance that had to be made up by black females working. So what she was saying is that also what happened is the mother had to ensure that the daughter was educated and could support herself because the support from black males was unsure. Okay, because of the nature of the society that we live in. But anyhow, let me get into this before we go too far. That is something that's revisionist history, and this is what Werner's going to talk about. Brenda Werner's going to talk about. Speed it up just a tad, so we can get through some of this, because I know my grandson's got homework, so we're going to might have to do this in sections, but we'll see.
Womanism. Werner believes that Africana womanism is why the feminist movement has failed to lure the rank-and-file black woman. She's also concerned about black college students and what she believes are cults of influence, victimization, rebellion, and idol worship, among others. Brenda Werner is out of the box and off of the plantation. I'm Tony Brown. In a moment, Africana womanism and the cults of influence. My guest is Ms. Brenda Werner. Ms. Werner has a master's degree in education from Harvard University, heads her own communications firm in Chicago, and is chair of the National Africana Women's Studies Organization. Ms. Werner, welcome very much.
Thank you for having me.
Very nice having you. I'm glad finally we could get your schedule straight. I know you speak all over all the time. Thanks for coming. What is Africana womanism? What is the relevance? Why and what is the distinction between Africana womanism and what we've come to know as the feminist movement in America?
I guess I could start by saying that I became associated with people who promoted feminism approximately between 1969 and 1970. And from the very beginning, in my association with these women as the head of Black student organization at Ithaca College and Cornell University, I always recognized that their basis for operation, their perspective and their principles were different than that of which Black women have a tradition.
Actually, she's pretty for a big back. She's actually pretty for a big back. No, we've seen harder faces.
Purported as I knew it. I come from Chicago, and most of the people in my family are from the South. We had a pretty clear indication of how we thought about things. And over the years, over about 22 years of participation in the women's studies movement, it became clearer and clearer to me that the thought mechanism that drives Black thought is basically different from that of the popular culture movement called feminism. And the difference lies in the fact that Africana women have had an entirely different experience in the United States than women of Eastern or even Western European experience. Our experience says the feminists started off talking about equal pay for equal work and even talking about women working. Black women have always worked, have always taken care of not only their own houses, but white women's houses too.
That's true. That's what Pauli Murray was saying, the same thing. Okay.
They've always had the accessibility of influence in the community. Feminists wanted accessibility to influence men. When Eastern liberal establishment white civil rights workers came to the South to help in what they called the civil rights movement, they expected to see.
She does kind of remind you of Loretta Devine, okay? With a cute face and a big back.
Different disenfranchised Black women whom they were going to lend their support to. To their surprise, they came to find out that Black women ran the civil rights movement, that they were highly influential in the church and in the home. This sparked a kind of jealousy that sparked the modern day feminist movement.
That's true. That is very true. Pauli Murray saying the same thing, okay? She said the same thing, but Pauli Murray disagreed with it, okay? She hated that. They're still crashing out because the 30 pieces of silver that Black women promised from white women to betray Black men turned out to be chocolate candy and silver wrapping when they tried to cash them out at the bank. Okay, they found that shit out too with in the last election. That's why they're pissed. And see, she's from Harvard, like Kantanji. I know she knows what a woman is. She's a womanist, so I'm sure she does.
I was recently reading Fannie the
Pauli Murray. Oh, Dr. T. If you want to come up, Dr. T, you can. Pauli Murray actually hated that Black women were not put in public leadership. You know, not behind the scenes, but in public leadership. In other words, what really pissed Pauli Murray off. The final straw for Pauli Murray was the march in Washington when all the Black speakers got up and there were no Black females next to them. She thought there should have been a 50-50 mix. Okay, and Pauli Murray, I think, in fact, if you go back and listen to her talk, right, when she talked to the feminists, right, she told her Black brothers either we all move together or we don't move at all. In other words, if we can't move together, if women can't be in leadership right alongside you, guess what? This shit's gonna go nowhere, and she made sure of it. Anyway.
Book by Kay Mills on Fannie Lou Hamer's life. And when they approached Fannie Lou Hamer and encouraged her to join what they called the women's liberation movement at that time, Fannie Lou Hamer's response was, I don't need to be liberated from my man. I don't want to be liberated from my community, my culture, or my family. Well, the only thing that I want is the freedom to live as well as everybody else.
I'd like to ask you one question before you continue. You said Black women ran the civil rights movement. Aren't Black women conspicuously absent from leadership in the black community.
You see, this is something that this is the public observation, and he's actually saying it what Pauli Murray was saying in 1970. Okay, really in the since the 1940s. Okay, Pauli Murray hated that shit. Okay, Pauli Murray always wanted to do what men do. Okay, I want the same kind of promotion and same kind of jobs or equal jobs that men do. Because Pauli Murray actually thought she was a man, but that's beside the point.
And in the black civil rights movement in particular?
I think the position, I would say that black women were the grease for the machinery. I think it was, when I look at the work that has been done, the interviews that have been held about the women, they originally wanted black men to be in leadership because they wanted the world to see black men in leadership.
Exactly. That's what black women wanted. Okay, the rank and file of the black women put those men in leadership, just like the black women put the pastor, even though the majority of the congregation is black female, they put the pastor as head because that's what they believe in. In fact, most matriarchies, okay, most matriarchies have a male leader, have a male political leader. I can't think of one that doesn't. Most matriarchies have, if not, the majority of the leadership is male. Voted in and put up and projected by the women, okay?
But that did not mean they were taking second place to black men. As you know, you've been black all your life. Black women can let black men know how they feel.
That's my mother.
And it's kind of interesting to see that now this whole cult of victimization that's been built up around the feminist movement is something that black women have always denied. They've always denied being a victim or the legitimate victim.
Well, they used to. They used to deny being a victim. They don't anymore, okay? They don't anymore.
We've always seen ourselves as sisters in charge of our own lives and our own destiny. And the conflict between feminism and womanism, which was the black response to early feminism. I remember in 1969, particularly when the feminists came on campus and asked that we join them, black women's response was womanism. And womanism grew out of the black cultural nationalist movement of the 1960s. We had womanhood classes in the cultural nationalist movement. Women were very clear about who they were and that their femininity was valuable. I think today, what was originally called the women's liberation movement and what was later called the women's movement and is now called the feminist movement is what exactly the planners of this popular culture event had in mind.
I just played you. Okay, and we reviewed the Pauli Murray thing. If you go back to that, okay, this was by design, okay? The elite, and she said it, the elite have to design this. The elite have to, the so-called educated elite females have to design this and put this into place and negotiate this. It was not negotiated by the rank and file, okay?
Originally, they seduced us with the idea that we were all women and that we were going to work together for women's equality, but that we were different, that we came from different cultural backgrounds, that we came from different...
In fact, she's saying exactly what Pauli Murray said in the speech that, the speech that I just played you. That's why I played you that piece, that little minute and a half piece first, okay? In fact, I have to make that a short, okay? She said what Brenda Werner is saying is exactly what happened. That's why I played it for you. And her and Eleanor Roosevelt were the architects of this shit. Okay, were the architects of it. In other words, unless we solve sexism, we can't solve racism. So sexism or feminist movement has become the primary mover in civil rights instead of freeing black people, especially black men. So black men have suffered under this. We all missed it from the color purple. Let some people tell it. Yeah. That's why it's put out there, okay? Because it's propaganda, for that women can eat it up, okay? So all the ill stuff that black women have, kind of sort of believed for the most part about us, all the negative stuff was all put into Mister. The rape was the grape of children, of little girls, okay, the molestation, all that kind of stuff, the beatings and all that kind of stuff was all put in the mister. So that and put on a stage so that black women can get behind it. And they just did it again for a new group of women.
Ethnic and racial backgrounds, and that our differences were valued. But now the only thing that's valued is the feminist perspective. You see?
No, I don't see. Help me understand that.
Well, the feminist perspective.
I think if she was still alive, she might. I think if she was still alive, she might, but she's not here anymore. She died in the 80s.
Says that women are victims and women should be at war with men for power, influence, and high profile, and that they have to assert themselves in a federation against men in order to get what they want. Regardless of
exactly. That's what it is.
The hostility that it causes. Black women have said that black men and black women have suffered inordinate hostilities and terrorism to some degree, and that we cannot wage war, a battle of the sexes against our men in order to gain a foothold or.
I wish it was still true, but guess what? It's not true. Not anymore.
Toehold on the economic ladder in America. But feminists don't feel any reservation to set up I consider it a hostile environment.
In other words, a hostile environment was not created by us. Okay, was not created by us, and that even during that meeting in 1970, they were saying about the hostile environment that women were actually creating between men and women.
But what we as African American women have to do, because things have changed over the 25-year history of the feminist movement. It started off as a women's movement. Now it's clearly a feminist movement, and they are the authors of political correctness, and they're even turning our own traditional cultural thought back on us, saying that if we do not hold their views, then we are indeed incorrect politically. One of the issues that is really important nowadays is whether or not black women have the right to indigenous thought. You see, popular cultures tear down.
SM, I guess you don't want to be here, man. Go ahead and get rid of him. You got my permission. Go ahead and get rid of him. Okay? I don't want to hear that shit.
Cultural divisions. If you are Irish or you're Italian or you are Asian, there are certain cultural mores and ways of doing things that people have indigenously. The need of the feminist movement is to wipe out these differences so that we can have a one world approach that women around the world will adopt the feminist agenda.
Ooh, do we not see that, right? Okay, she's spilling the tea right now. She's spilling the tea right now. She is really spilling the tea, okay? That's why, and this is something that Green Gorilla and Dr. T turned me on to, because they were educated to be feminists, okay? And they had to, they basically are what they call, they would be called traitors, feminist traitors, because they didn't like what they saw. They didn't like what they were taught. And so basically they're in, I don't want to say open rebellion, but the thing is they're the counter narrative. Let's put it that way. Let's put it more gently to this stuff. And so is she. She's actually spilling the tea.
Which is abortion, the acceptance of homosexuality, the promotion of the idea of women in battle.
Say it again, black girl.
I remember in 1974, the issue was whether or not we were going to promote the idea of women being in the draft. And my objection was that if these same women who declared that these men who run the country were white and racist, they were going to give them the option of drafting women, guess who they would draft?
Ooh.
So
who would they draft?
They would draft, if they were racist and white, as the white women claimed, they would draft the black women. And these are the women that would go to war. And when I asked this question and raised it repeatedly, people would say, well, we should wait in later and see how it turns out. I said, not one life should be lost to see how it turns out. But we are now.
At least she's smart. Black women say, we ain't doing that shit, okay? No, the alphabet, we ain't gonna go into that about the alphabet community. It was underground, but it was always there. The alphabet community was always there in the feminist movement, going all the way back to the 19th century. It's always been there. So, but it's underground.
Now in the throes of being manipulated by a well-organized, well-heeled popular culture machinery that is trying to encourage women that they to separate themselves from their cultures and from their men and from their traditional base, from their traditional identity. And their identity is the very vehicle through which they view the world.
Yeah.
If you don't have your traditional identity, what do you replace it with?
Exactly. Intersectional feminism is what they want them to replace it with. Exactly.
And is that a traditional identity worth saving? And I believe that the traditional role of identity among Africana women is crucial to our survival in the Western Hemisphere, in this Western world.
Even though the Africana woman or the black society was gynocratic, and it always has been, still is. But the thing is, at least it was semi-functional until you interjected white feminism into it.
World. And this identity is they're subtly trying to restructure it, redefine it. The most important aspect of all of this is the revisionist attempts by feminists through what they call so-called black.
It's so-called, yeah, to rewrite. It's exactly what we're saying about Sojourner Truth and what's his name, Harriet Tubman, and a whole bunch of other, the revisionist black feminist history. Okay.
Feminists to rewrite black history from a feminist perspective, to rewrite our experience in the Western world as victims as opposed to victors. This is a very serious thing that is.
Give me an example of how that is done.
Well, originally, the feminists started off by using techniques that they had acquired in the civil rights movement, by referring to one another as sister, and calling feminism sisterhood, and claiming Sojourner Truth as a feminist. And then they went on to here lately encourage women to think of in only terms of either they were feminist or they were not feminist. You see, the feminist is the guideline for whether or not you are acceptable or not. Recently, I had a discussion with a woman who's writing a book on Ida B. Wells, and she described Ida B. Wells as a feminist. And I asked, how could Ida B. Wells be a feminist when she never heard the word?
No. Ooh.
And she says that, she took the license to describe her as a feminist. And the word that would describe these women of our past, these great heroines of our past, would be Christian freedom fighters.
Yep, they were abolitionists, or they were early civil rights.
They identified with Christ and through Christ more than they did any other political machinery. And to revise them to fit the contemporary times is, in my opinion, is almost betrayal. It's cultural betrayal. One of the most important aspects of describing and defining the history of black women is their spiritual belief. And the feminist movement is, until lately, has what I would describe it as being godless or atheistic. But as of late, they have been introducing this concept of goddess worship.
Ooh.
And worship.
What kind of worship?
Goddess worship.
Godless?
Goddess.
Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reintroduction of pagan goddess worship from the Dark Ages of Egypt. I mean, not Egypt, Europe.
The Dark Ages, Egypt, also the Crete, from Crete. Okay, the goddess worship. Goddess worship has been around for a very long time. Okay, and Crete was the center of it back in the ancient world.
And they're actually teaching these courses in women's studies across this nation that you're supposed to worship. There's more than one of them, but the main one is Sophia. And that puts them in direct opposition with the spiritual nature of the black community and black women in particular. I'm not saying that all black women hold the same spiritual belief, but for those who have had even a cursory study of black history, you know that the unifying spiritual nature in America for black women is Christianity.
Let me ask you, in that context, in terms of spiritualism in the black community and Christianity.
All right, I need some likes. Okay, I got almost 800 people watching. How many likes I got? Come on now. Come on now. I know everybody here that's watching this ain't black, so come on now. Give me some likes. I only got 230. You know what? Let me go help my grandson with his homework, because y'all ain't giving me no love, okay? So it's one thing if I don't, it's one thing if I get donations and super chats, okay? That's one thing. So I could at least get likes. If I got almost 800 people watching, I should have at least 400 likes. Come on, y'all. So that don't make no sense, okay? If I have this many, if I had 300 or 400 people watching. Come on, y'all. Yeah, I'm getting to be like getting old grumpy like Kevin. Okay, I'm showing you the inside of how this stuff is put together brick by brick. Okay, so when you go up against feminists like FD Signifier and all these other kind of people, you can go brick by brick, toe to toe, how this stuff was actually built, how it was put together, and actually go to toe and deconstruct all their arguments because they don't have it. They don't know how this shit was actually put together. I'm showing you. This is a Dr. T could tell you. This is a postgraduate course that I'm holding right now. Postgraduate. Okay? And I could at least get likes. Because I can, I'm looking at all, because I just went through, man, all the people I saw that came up as reactors and just play videos and sit on the sidelines and just play TikTok videos, man. They have freaking 300,000-400,000 subscribers, right? They get they get $1,000 a video, and they do nothing except show TikToks and react. And I'm teaching fundamental stuff that you can actually go out and use and go toe to toe in any business, at any level, at any college. And I can't get no likes. Come on now. I was thinking about, hey man, I can make more. If I just wanted to make money, I can just go into TikTok and do react to black female fuckery and make tons more money. Okay, I can do pop the balloon. Okay, react to pop the balloon shows to make more money. Okay, and I'm not here for money. I'm here to teach you. Should at least get some freaking likes. Okay. Thank you for the BGS tax. Put some respect on it. See, and that's the thing is because the thing is I don't the money is good. I don't mind that, but thing is I should get some likes. Okay. Appreciate you, Peachtree. Play the heavy metal music like Kevin. I might. They wouldn't even deal with polyamory because it's taboo. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tolbert. Okay. This is something that Green Gorilla and Dr. T turned me on to. They can't teach this in their class. Okay. They can't teach this in their freaking class. Okay. This is stuff that's outside the realm of where they can actually deal with on a college campus. Nowhere are you going to see, I'm going to say nowhere because I haven't seen it. If you know where someplace where you've seen it, show me any place on the internet that goes through this kind of analysis. Anywhere. Okay? The only other person I know that goes through this kind of analysis is Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. He's the only one outside of me. And some shit he can't say, okay? Bringing back the old memories of having sat through much of this in undergrad. Yeah.
Are we looking at a break with that in terms of the gangsta, as I like to call it, the gangsta subculture in the black community?
If some of the people are hate watching, hit the YouTube doesn't care. They want engagement. If you hate it, go hit the down arrow. Hit thumbs down. I don't care.
It's not the majority of black people, but it is a phenomenon in the black community. And I
appreciate you, Ilyas.
Include in that gangsta culture, having babies just because you want to have a baby. Not forming family units because they're not important in your mind to form them. Values that I won't bring up here, but the values are certainly not Christian values. And they're certainly not values that relate to any religion. They are rather amoral values, if I may. Rebellious. However you like to characterize it. Now, how would this phenomenon fit?
Polly Murray said back in the 1940s that black women were in open rebellion against their men, especially the black female elite, an open rebellion against their men. Open rebellion, which showed up in the Tangler pathology, which showed up in the 1960s once they got welfare. They're in open rebellion against their men. Thank you, Dr. Goodbar. Okay. So, boycott, appreciate you.
Into your paradigm of the black community being a spiritual community.
Well, I think that the same phenomenon that's happening in the black community is happening in the larger American society at large. something has replaced the traditional communal input, and that is American media and American popular culture.
Yep, you saw it during the election. Okay, the crystallization of what she's just saying, you just saw when they were trying to put Kamala Harris in the election. The input, the propaganda of the media and popular culture was there in force. Okay, crystallized.
Whereas children used to be outside playing with one another or sitting on front porches listening to other people tell stories, they are now parked in front of televisions. They are now plugged into earphones that they're listening to vile music. They're going to theaters at an incredible rate. They can run to the corner video store and get soft pornography from the time that they're able to put the money on the counter. And we are now in competition with a powerful vehicle or vehicles that are pushing aside the traditional base of every.
And that's why when Luthen said in Andor, right? In fact, I'm gonna clip that, right? I am forced to use the tools of my enemies to defeat them. Okay. That's what we're here. That's what YouTube and social media is, right? Okay. We don't. They're not our tools. Okay. They're the tools that we call out the opposition. I won't even call them any, the opposition, right? So we're forced to use the tools of our opposition to defeat them. Okay, that means you have to be more clever. This is what this is, right? Okay, intersectional feminism, all this kind of crap that's been pushed on us by white females. Okay, which is to their benefit. Okay, because it's not the black females or the black men or the white men even trying to end what they call affirmative action because they want to solve the problem. Get the black man a job because we're tired of paying welfare. We're tired of these broken ass families. We're tired of all this stuff going bad. Give the black man his job. Let him run his family so that we can get this stuff in order. Okay, they were wholeheartedly for that. It's the white women and the black women that were actually against this shit. Okay. For the goal you're showing us, connecting the dots helps me understand why what my father saw, goddess worship tied to feminism isn't a surprise. Ritualistic child sacrifice, erasing men came next. Who leads the child? Yeah, that's true. Okay, and basically, abortion was not shoved down black women's throats. Okay, they weren't. Okay, that's how come. That's how come, what's her name, Margaret Sanger went to Harlem first, because black women wanted that shit, right? And they pushed that abortion through the black church. Don't let black women and feminism lie and tell you that black women didn't want abortion. They did. Okay? They're the first ones to run to the clinics. Black women don't have to run to the clinics, okay? Press the call, turn Jones. Put some respect on Jenga's name. Jegna's name. Hit the like button, please, okay?
Ethnic and cultural group. However, still, in African American culture, the various African American church denominations are still the strongest institutions that we have, and they're the vehicles by which we've been able to educate, early education, to get children to listen, to learn, to get them to read, to get them to respect adult authority, to get them to recite before audiences, and to get them to operate as a cohesive group.
What about marriage? That's where people they meet each other in church and they get married.
And I was telling a group of women recently, when I was a kid, Sunday afternoon teas were where young single people met one another. They met one another in a kind of loosely chaperoned environment. The girls dressed their best and the guys acted their best in order to impress one another. There was a more genteel environment. And I think that environment still exists, but it's being drowned out by a louder speaker. You know, like those cars that come through your community, they have the loud speakers and shake your windows. That's what's happening with popular culture. They've turned up the volume. And it doesn't mean that the traditional ways that we've been able to advance ourselves in this society are not there. We just don't have the organized effort to make it known. And that's what...
They pretty much killed most of that, right? And I think this Brenda Vernon did this maybe 20, 30 years ago. So... can't retire yet, old man. Appreciate you, Mr. Heat. FBA culture is pop culture, not entirely black, which is why it's so destructive. Okay, FBA, FBA culture, Jesus Christ, man. You know, I don't even want to get into it. Okay, I don't know why you guys cling to it. Okay, because if you really want to go back to FBA culture, you go back to Negro culture because that's really what it is. Okay, and what you're fighting on, and basically FBA culture is in a sense is a very narrowly defined uh, avenue for reparations. Okay, narrowly defined, and basically what it's done is actually exploded into something that it wasn't designed for. Okay. Apologies for my late arrival. Okay, replay game. No problem.
I believe it has to be done among Black women. We must realize that now we need to organize to defend our cultural way of life, or it will slowly be taken away from us.
How are you doing
We're saying that now. She said that 30 years ago.
that?
One of the things that we did was
Who's we?
well, various groups of women. I must say, I've been involved with a lot of organizing.
Grinch says, wishing all thinking Black men everywhere strike free. Happy holidays.
First thing we did was to found the National Africana Women's Studies Organization. In order that we could come out from under the feminist umbrella, we needed to be able to operate freely. And I have a network of women across this nation who are now in the process of structuring a membership campaign so that Black female students on campuses will have an alternative to feminism.
Tell me about the campus. You're very, very, very concerned about Black students on campuses. Why are you concerned?
Because Black women on campuses are under the aegis of instructors and professors who have a political perspective that they more or less are presenting as dogma, that these students, when someone has the power of the grade over you, they do have the power to change your mind, even if you resist. What's happening to young people on campuses now is that they are being challenged in their belief system and are being encouraged through grade systems not by everyone, but some people are telling these young people that it's important that they change the way they feel about their own cultural group. And that they must embrace the popular culture, politically correct.
Give me an example of how that would happen to a young Black woman. What is it that one would ask her to give up in order to get what?
Okay, I'll give you even more of a hard case. I have a friend at Mills College in California, in Oakland, California. She runs the ethnic studies programs there. The ethnic studies program, young women set up a womanist council. And these are women who are Asian, Hispanic, Native American, East Indian, African, and Africana women. The women's studies program on the campus wants to have influence and have these women under their umbrella. But these women choose to set up their own council and to have their own womanist publication so that they can present their womanist view from an indigenous cultural perspective. The very act of doing this was an act of war to the feminists. And with the help of the president of the college, many acts have been perpetrated against these non-white, non-feminist women who want to stay loyal to their indigenous way of life. And the battle is still being waged. Recently,
in other words, what Pauli Murray, that's why I played it. With the original case for feminism, okay, the feminist movement is that black women, Native Americans, all this stuff, were actually going to come together and still present their cultural indigenous values into the feminist movement, right? Okay, what happened? The exact opposite. White women bait and switch, right? No. You can't think of that. You got to leave that behind. Just the same way they did the Native Americans, right? They took them from their village, put them into Indian schools, taught them white culture, and basically erased their Native American culture for the most part, okay? Made them white. It's called brainwashing.
Bell Hooks wrote an opinion piece in the Chronicles of Higher Education, a well-known Black feminist, attacking Black women who reject feminism and who embrace womanism. She's been trying to project Alice Walker's definition of womanism,
yes,
which has been
color purple. Yes, yes.
Supported by the feminists, saying that womanism is to feminism as lavender is to purple.
Yeah,
you notice they give
is lavender is to purple, the color purple, right?
Purple, the stronger color, and feminism, the stronger perspective. Well,
in other words, the color purple is feminism. Okay. In other words, womanism is lavender. Okay, according to them, which is a mix. And the color purple is a strong color, which is pure feminism, right? So there you have it, out of her mouth. Why do they call the movie The Color Purple?
Indeed, womanism is a byproduct of indigenous African American cultural thought. Womanism, in essence, says we love men, we like being women, we love children, we like being mothers, we want harmonious relationships and family relationships. We are not at battle with our men. We have an indigenous cultural perspective, and that embraces the positions of men, women, and children.
Well, two things I'd like to ask as a result of what you've said. One, are you rejecting equal authority and power with men? And do you resent women having power? And should women struggle to have power? Equal, not that they are at war with men or rejecting men.
You mean equal status?
Equal status. Should a woman? Are you talking cultural nationalism, walking behind a man?
Oh, no.
But help clarify that.
I remember that.
What about
period.
a woman having power?
No, I'm talking about the kind of status that black women have had and where I grew up. They had the power to, and many of them were the heads of the households.
Yep.
They had the power to make decisions about their own life.
In other words, they already had. Polly Murray said the same thing back then, right? Okay. She said a quarter, as listed, were heads of households, right? That was in 1970. A quarter, probably more than that. Okay, way more than it was in the white community. Okay, they always had that power. Even that's what Moynihan was saying. Even if they were married, black women still ran the household. That is a matriarchal system. That is a gynocratic system. Okay, you have a husband. Guess who still runs the house? Guess who still tells him what to do?
They had the power to make their own perspective a reality for themselves. In order, you do not have to tear down the house in order to get order in it.
But you don't object to women having power.
Of course not. I mean, can you imagine black women without power?
Ah!
I mean, the very idea.
Say it again, black woman. Say it again, black girl. Can you imagine a black woman not having power?
About it. Black women without power? I mean, the very essence of who we are in general in this country is that we are women who are powerful enough to endure the kinds of hardships and challenges and terrorism we have and still keep our sanity. And still love. And even love the children of our oppressors. We are powerful women in our own right. And joining a federation of women who are being led by an elitist group of well-heeled, highly educated, upper middle class, East Coast establishment feminists, radical feminists, is not the answer for cultural women. We are in a serious battle for our way of life in this country. You know, some issues are even superseding color now. The question is American society going to survive?
That is a good question. Okay. That is the question, is it not? To be or not to be, right?
Can we continue to imbibe all of this?
And as a side note, Dr. T, I got my grandson reading Hamlet right now. You know, so he's a seventh grader, and basically Hamlet is a late high school, even a college reading course, right? So I got him reading Hamlet and Shakespeare right now. And I actually had him recite the to be a not to be. Okay. Great insight, great and insightful stream. It's a tour de horizon, homage to yours and Dr. T. Et al. Body of work. Yep.
The sleazy television, the soft pornography being spewed on our children,
yep.
And the hostility and anger that is being embedded in children. Children think the answer to all of their questions now is being a ninja.
Oh, mic drop. She said this 30 years ago, okay? She said this 30 years ago. She's right. She's a gynocrat, but she's an old-fashioned covenant gynocrat, okay? Where the covenant was still intact. Remember what they were saying? Like saying 80%, 90% of black people were married, okay, and had intact families. She comes from that era. Is she a gynocrat? Yes. But the thing is that this gynocrat believed in intact families. They believed in what? Gender roles, okay? Continuing.
We have a church system that I believe has not been adequately used. I believe it can be an educational institution. I believe that we can re-educate the leaders of these denominations, that we can start an education movement that can at least take 50% of Black children out of public schools
Ooh.
and put them under Black education directives. We have so many things that we can be doing. I mean, just the very act of whether or not your child is going to live these days
Ooh.
supersedes joining a federation of women who are at war for money.
Oh.
You know, I live in a neighborhood that's a
DEI, anybody? Say it again, Big Mama. DEI, I keep telling, you know, because we keep getting fed the DEI by Black elite women that want to hold their position. 90% of DEI goes to white women, okay? And they want you to fight. Because guess what? When affirmative action was being struck down by the civil rights movement, it didn't include sex. White women didn't say shit, okay? They didn't say shit. Democrats didn't say shit when it was struck down, okay? They didn't say they were going to do something about it, work around it. They didn't say a goddamn thing. When it came to white women's jobs being affected, now they want to squawk. Now they want you to go march and burn down the village because of DEI, okay? They want you to sit on top and watch the city burn while you sip your coffee. It's going to affect them. They have a problem with it. When it affected men, because they knew, okay, so look, sister girl, okay, they didn't include sex, so guess who's going to get hit? It's going to be your man. And basically, the state's going to take care of it because you don't need him, because guess what? Uncle Sam's your baby daddy anyway, right? Right? I said, you took a double and hustled and turned the stream into Mookie Betts in the park home run. My man now give us a grand slam with 3 PhDs. Anyhow.
That it's clearly a middle-class neighborhood. But last summer, the neighborhood turned into a war zone. Something like 17 children were killed in my neighborhood last summer. And I'm saying that we cannot split our loyalties and diffuse our focus. We have got to learn from the...
I said, she looks like she make biscuits from scratch and got some good loving. She probably can throw down a mean cross too. She probably can. She ain't no little girl, so let's put it that way. Said Ian Gray said, be just these women that saw the money and wanted a piece of the pie and talk that. I still want family intact to continue to get in support of their Black Indigenous men. You can't trust them. I believe her, okay, but do I believe them all? No. Some of the women are actually feminists inside a purple cloak. That's what they are.
In the last 30 years.
Tell me what we should do, and we have about a minute or so left. What should Africana women do in light of everything you've just said?
Right. Africana women should look to the institutions and their networks of people to come together to change the bad situations and highlight the good. What we hear all the time is bad news, but what we need to hold up is the good news, that we are still the moral people that we've always been, that we are the bedrock of this society, and that we have much to contribute, and that we need stable homes and stable families and concrete communities.
Do you need money and power, and not you reject power, but do you need money to make you that successful woman?
Of course we do. You know, in Chicago, Chicago for a long time was the home of the Black business community. I think that the whole national Black community should turn its efforts toward garnering Black markets and then wider markets, international markets. We need to found an African American National Congress through which we can process our decision making.
I must make a decision. We're out of time.
Very good.
Brenda, thank you very much.
I just wanted to play her, you know, because somebody had played a short of hers. And then I found the whole piece by somebody else, and then I looked up. Green Gorilla had played this, okay, but he didn't give commentary on it, okay. And I wanted to give commentary to the piece, okay, because me discovering Pauli Murray and me reading her biography, man, they turned civil rights from a Black movement into some bullshit, okay. And the only reason that we got anything out of it is because of the Kerner Commission, right? The Kerner Commission, with the Moynihan report started the ball. The Kerner Commission actually did it right after the civil rights, okay? The Martin Luther King riots, okay? I'm sorry, Martin Luther King had to die for it, but the thing is, that's the only reason that you got anything, right? Because after they killed Martin Luther King and we had like like 40 riots across the country, okay, with Negroes burning shit down. They said give these Negroes their check. That's the only reason we got anything, right? And then once we got that, 80% of it was actually taken by white women. 83% of affirmative action signed into law through a presidential signing, executive order, okay, that's been perpetuated by every president since then for the last, 50 years, signed into order, a law by Johnson, right, that sex is included in affirmative action, okay? And it was never supposed to be there. In fact, civil rights almost failed in the Senate is because they put sex in, which is why they put it in there in the first place, right? And the Southern women got wind of it and said, "You're not. This is going to go through because it's going to benefit us." That's why it went through. It was never supposed to be there. It was actually supposed to be a jobs program for black men. Okay, that's all Moynihan was talking about. But the thing is, black women did not want to give up power. And white women did not want black men to have those jobs because they want, if you're going to give the jobs to anybody, give them to us. That's what happened. Appreciate that. Shout out to BGS University. But that is and that's my grandson texting me telling me it's homework time. But we finished the video. I just wanted to give context to it, okay? Because we played Pauli Murray and her interview or her talk, which is rare. Finding shit on Pauli Murray is very difficult. It's rare. There's more of it now, but finding it is rare. Okay, and the idea of what he called Jane Crow, right, where racism and sexism actually collide, right? So in other words, the intersectional feminism, and she actually mentioned gays. Gays. She actually mentioned black folks, females, all the other things, all the indigenous stuff. Basically, she actually described intersectional feminism, right? And the same shit that some of the stuff that Brenda Verner was talking about came from Pauli Murray. She's the author. Her and Eleanor Roosevelt are the author of it. Eleanor Roosevelt put Pauli Murray together with a lot of the so-called budding second wave feminists that started now. Okay? Pauli Murray is one of the founding members of Now. Okay? That's how far back it goes. She's a central piece that nobody, her and Eleanor Roosevelt are the two central pieces that nobody talks about as far as feminism. And gay rights on top of that. Anyhow, let me get out of here, y'all. Let me check let me check for some cash apps just in case, because I didn't do it last time. Tooth Trip, appreciate you, okay? Lynn Todd, appreciate you. Mr. Heat, double blessing, appreciate you. Eric, appreciate you. Alan, appreciate you. Marshawn, appreciate you, okay? Appreciate you for the cash apps. Rashad, appreciate you. Y'all, you guys will not hear this anyplace else. And I don't give you guys this just so that you guys can sit back and entertain. You guys can pull this stuff out, okay? You can pull out Pauli Murray, okay? Pauli Murray, that's why I played it. Pauli Murray intentionally gave the feminists the civil rights movement. It was actually intentionally done. That's how come it went into the 64 bill. The black female elite agreed with this shit, okay? We're too small to change, to bring in civil rights. And maybe we were. I don't know, okay? I don't know. Maybe we were. That you had to bring in a bigger group for pressure. Maybe so, okay? What I'm saying is, at least we should know how and why stuff is done, so that you can actually go and find the truth, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. The thing is, these are the facts that are on the ground, okay? My conclusions could be wrong, but the thing is, if you look at what Brenda Verner was saying and what Pauli Murray said and the other feminists that put this stuff together, you can start to see the why behind the what. And everything that she said and everything that Pauli Murray said back in the 60s and 70s, you can see today. Still in repose, still in action, okay? With the LGBTQI, with the DEI, with all that kind of stuff, it's still in action. It's still there, and it's become from a movement to a damn near religion, okay? Feminism is a religion, and when she said it's supposed to be spread globally, you can see it in Ghana, you can see it in Kenya, you can see it in South Africa, you can see it in China, you can see it in Korea. Okay? They meant for this stuff to spread. Anyhow, Builder's Table says, seems like the so-called backbone community has a severe case of scoliosis. Probably so. I said, Dr. Marifa says, this is a postgraduate content and required reading and listening material. I'm trying to point you guys in the right direction, okay? Some stuff that I'm listening to. The book is called "Songs from a Weary Throat," okay? And you can tell she glosses over some details, okay? She'll give you the events, but she'll gonna leave out just enough details to where you can't make serious conclusions, okay? But she gives you enough to let you know that a lot of this shit is insider shit, okay? And she said that the small elite women need to come together and form this movement, and then encourage the masses to follow. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did, okay? Look, in other words, that if you want to, every time somebody mentions the movie or the book Color Purple, you tell them what it actually meant, right? Okay. Color Purple means feminism. Okay, pure unadulterated feminism. Okay, lavender is woman. In other words, that's just like the red and the blue. Okay, it becomes purple. Okay, the purple pill was mixed. Okay. Basically, feminism. Lavender has too much red in it. Has too much truth in it. They want pure purple, right? That's where it comes from. Okay. So every time they mention the color purple is feminism. Out of Brenda Werner's mouth. Okay. Now we have clue. So when you jot this stuff down, so when this stuff comes up, you have a rebuttal. Okay. Every single time I start bringing in facts and stuff like that from even in pro-blacks, man, you shut them down. Facts, data, statistics, examples from not just here but around the world, you shut people down. When you start mixing cultural movements and politics with national politics, with geopolitics, okay? On those three levels, you shut people down. And I have examples of people from this space going into elite spaces and shutting down arguments. And people ask you, where the hell did you get that from? That's what I want for you guys. That's why I do this. Cause man, I can trust and believe, man, I can make way more money towing the line and doing entertainment. YouTube is an entertainment platform. I can make way more money with entertainment. I can make way more money doing astrology than I do this. I can make a ton more money getting into astrology and doing astrology and Jungian psychology than I can do this. Okay? I'm doing this so that you guys can actually use these things as tools to go out and affect your independence, affect your masculinity, affect your black male rights. Okay? Because trust and believe, when it comes to passport bros, when they're going after Asa Holloman, I said, man, fuck them. Okay? Fuck those women. Okay? Don't let your black woman shame you into getting back into their pocket. Go do you. And basically, I tell all the men, all the passport bros, you have to learn, okay? There's a learning curve. You're not going to do, when you first go out, you're going to trick. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get in trouble, but don't stop, okay? Don't stop. Keep doing. You're going to get better. You're going to learn from your mistakes. Austin Holloman just said that. When he first started, he said he had to learn from his mistakes. He had to learn. And now where he's at, he's much more mature, much more capable, is because he learned from his mistakes. He had to make them. Anyhow, we get out of here before I start preaching. So do you look like she can throw it back and grind on? I don't know. Okay, y'all into some other shit. Okay, y'all into some other shit. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here, man. I probably caused enough trouble. So I will see you guys tomorrow. So tomorrow I will probably we'll probably get into something else, man. We get out of women. We might go into politics or something like that. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. It's gonna be something different because I talked about black feminism enough, and I think I think I've done enough this week. We might get into something else, but I think I'm gonna do something different tomorrow. But and I got to work on my my black pill Gnostic, put it and do some pre-recordeds on that. So I'll be working on that. So anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here. Replay this, take notes, and use this. Thank you, Supreme IBMOR and Tooth Trib, okay, and for the Cash App. Write this stuff down. Use this. Basically, Compassionate Callous was telling me that he was talking to some people. I think it's one from MIT or something like that. He was in discussions with them, and he was blowing them away. Okay, because this stuff is not taught. He was blowing them away. I present this stuff to you so that when you get into these, because basically for the most part, I can't talk to my family about this stuff because this is way above their level, right? I start talking about this kind of stuff and putting these kind of facts, their eyes will glaze over, right? So this kind of stuff is not meant for the what I call the pedestrian, and sometimes not even the civilian. This is for the elite people that actually know how this stuff was put together. So we get in conversations with elite people. Okay, people that think they're elite, you can actually go toe-to-toe with them. That's what this stuff is for. That's why I present this stuff. So I break this stuff down, and I tell you where it came from. I don't just tell you my opinion or throw stuff around. I actually tell you where it came from, and if I can, actually show you where it came from. And who said it, what they said, and I try to break down, in my opinion, why they said it. And I show you a couple examples of where it exists, so that you can actually put this stuff together, form your own opinion, and use it as tools. Sometimes as loose and said. In fact, I'm going to clip that, right? We are forced to use the tools of our enemies to defeat them. It is what it is. That's called guerrilla warfare. What's the name of this interview? Okay, I just showed it. Okay, but I will show it again. Okay. Go to Green Gorilla. Okay, this is Africana womanism. Brenda Werner. This is on his page. I forget the name of the interview. It's I can't remember. Okay, you got to. He actually talked about it right at the very beginning. Go back and replay it. Anyhow, let's get out of here. All right, folks, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Muzyka Denis 7.